I feel like I experienced a miracle these last 3 years. Oh, this is feeling extra vulnerable today. I hope you guys are in for a story. 3 years ago, I was living in North Carolina. I was working a corporate job and navigating chronic illness. I was 7 years into trying to heal my body. I had SIBO, no period, terrible cystic acne, lost 30 pounds, most of my hair, inflammation over my entire body. I was a mess. I had tried everything. Like when I tell you, I put myself through the ringer to only make mild progress to the point where I didn't look like a dying corpse, but I still felt like one. No energy, so bloated. I looked 6 months pregnant, hormones all over the place, and definitely depressed. I'd show up for work every day thinking about how I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. I'd force myself to go to bars on the weekend and hate every second of talking about nothing. I'd go to my parents' house every weekend to hide away because I felt so ill, alone, and stuck living a life that seemed to satisfy everyone but me. My 2 best friends were also feeling the same way, but they were living in a different state at the time. We'd call each other every day and be like, hey, what are you doing? Rotting at my parents' house, same. This cannot be it. They decided that they wanted to go somewhere for a month in the summer to work remotely, get a change of scenery, and possibly vet out a place to move. And of course, I wanted to do that with them, but I had a million excuses for why I couldn't. I worked in the office. I couldn't be that financially irresponsible. I wasn't healthy enough. All of these limitations that at the end of the day were self-imposed and not true. Because what was true was that my life wasn't working. My body wasn't healing, and I had known for a while that I needed to make a change. So I had this moment with myself finally where I was like, what is it going to take for you to finally face your fear? I thank God I lost my health because it is what gave me the courage to finally surrender. I quit my job, and guess what? 3 days later, I got my period back. God's like, yes, keep going. I moved to Denver, fully intent on healing myself, starting my business, and exploring the mountains with my friends. But then I meet a boy. We got connected because our families knew each other, and he texts me and offers to show my friends around. And I'm like, great, cool. Yeah, we know nothing about Colorado. He picks us up for a hike, and immediately I'm like, oh no, there's vibes. I'm not looking for a man. I'm not fully healed. I hadn't dated for a long time because of everything with my health. I was very guarded, and I didn't want to let anyone in to see my mess. But there came that voice again. The same one that had been trying to guide me my whole life. The same one that had led me to Denver. It was this knowing in my gut that was so clear and full of peace, even without me knowing all the facts. This is when I really started to realize that that voice was not mine, it was God's. And the reason I was so uncomfortable listening to it was because I didn't trust God, because I didn't really know him. I wasn't able to let in love because I'd never let God love me. So that was the catalyst for my 2-year journey of getting to know who God really is. I explored a lot of New Age spirituality for a while, but eventually realized that at the root, that was still me trying to save me. And then my friends and I got introduced to a church. I was very apprehensive at first about the whole organized religion thing and establishments in general, but I went inconsistently at first, and I looked around and saw all these people that had this light and joy about them that I had never had. I honestly judged it at first because I thought, well, yeah, if only it could be that simple to just have faith and be free. I never understood who Jesus was and why I needed to believe in him. Like, even saying his name cringed me out. I would just say God. How could I ever be certain that Jesus was God? Because I haven't seen him with my own eyes. It seemed really prideful to me that all these people were just assuming that they had the right answer. But then I started reading the Bible for myself. Pretty sure I asked chat, like, what's the best book of the Bible to start with if you don't understand who Jesus is? And it told me John. And that was really good advice. In the beginning, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God. God created everything through him, and nothing was created except through him. The Word gave life to everything that was created. His life brought light to everyone. This light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. He came into the very world he created, but the world didn't recognize him. He came to his own people, and even they rejected him. But to all who believed and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of God. They are reborn, not with a physical birth resulting from human passion or plan, but a birth that comes from God. So the Word became human and made his home among us. He was full of unfailing love and faithfulness, and we have seen his glory, the glory of the Father's one and only Son. Now, I'm no theologian, I'm not a Christian scholar, but I understood this in my heart. Jesus is God, God's perfect self-expression on earth. If I want to know what God is like, I just have to look to Jesus. God's unfailing love and faithfulness came to me through Jesus. That was always God's plan. Something in me started to completely change from that point. I started devouring the Bible, craving it, understanding it in ways I never had before, going to church and actually hearing the message, softening, surrendering, healing, humbling, and finally having the capacity to love. That boy that I mentioned a while ago, he came back into my orbit around this time. He had actually moved to North Carolina, and I had admitted to my friends that I had liked him all along, and I'm not kidding, within days of me saying that, he texted me, and eventually we started dating long distance. I got baptized this year, never thought I'd do that. I started a Bible study at my house with my friends, never thought I'd do that. I've evolved my business to now be centered around faith because I realized that Jesus was the one thing I was missing all along. I have completely given my life to Christ, and I'm willing to go wherever he will lead me, and he has called me to come back to North Carolina, to the exact city I was in before. I feel like I've been called here to rewrite the story, to bring light to a place I used to associate with my own darkness, and to see how Jesus wants to use me. There are a lot of unknowns. I left a place I love, a lot of amazing people that have changed my life, and my favorite chapter of life by far. But if God can do all of that in 3 years, how good could it get? I have so much faith in his plan because I have seen what can happen when you let him lead. It is better to know God than to know. I know God. He is who he says he is, and God is love.